Good morning. We're going to lead off on this Tuesday with the story of an apparent coronavirus prank that has no one laughing this morning. A Toronto man is facing charges after a hoax forced a WestJet plane back to Toronto, halfway on to its Caribbean destination. It's Laura McQuillan who begins our coverage with the details of what happened. Laura.
Good morning, Heather. Well, what we're learning now is that a man apparently stood up on that flight yesterday and announced to passengers that he'd recently been to China and that he had coronavirus. You can imagine how people responded to that, but what we're learning is that the cabin crew took all the protocols they should have. They sequestered the man at the back of the plane, they gave him a mask and gloves, and according to passengers, they also put on masks and gloves themselves. That is before they determined this was a prank. Now, the plane was already over Florida when that decision was made to turn back. You can see there more than halfway to their destination when the plane turned around and headed back to Toronto. We spoke to one passenger on that plane, Julianne Broderick, and she says her family felt pretty concerned when they heard the plane turn around. The captain came over the speaker and he sounded pretty frustrated when he spoke to passengers. Here's what he said.
At first he came on and he said, there's an incident that somebody's not well, and so they're sequestered to the back and all the proper procedure has taken place. And then after that, he came on and said, we believe it's a hoax, and thanks to this person, we now have to go back to Ontario, but federal officials will be meeting him there, and there will be a crew working to get you guys back on another flight to Jamaica as soon as possible.
Now, the plane should have been landing in Jamaica about 1:30, but instead passengers were headed back to Toronto, landing about 2 p.m. And we know that police took that man into custody once the plane landed. He's a 29-year-old from Thornhill, just north of Toronto. He's been charged with mischief and he is due in court on this next month, Heather.
So as we've heard both from the passengers and from the airline, they did follow all the proper protocol, Laura, but in detail in that statement, what is WestJet saying in addition?
They're describing this man as an unruly passenger, and they say he inconvenienced passengers not just on this plane, but of course on the one that was set to come back, bringing people back from Montego Bay. In that statement, they also told us that out of an abundance of caution, the crew followed all protocols for infectious disease on board, including sequestering an individual who made an unfounded claim regarding coronavirus. And they say, we sincerely apologise to the 243 guests who were affected by this unfortunate situation. Now, as I mentioned, passengers also stuck for an extra day back in Jamaica, but there will be extra flights put on both ways today, Heather, to get everyone to their destination. Unfortunate, though, that folks coming from Toronto have to, wait one extra day to head off on vacation.
Laura McQuillan, thank you very much with that story.